Dr. Flaidland, thank you very much, and thanks to all of you for being here today. We've been waiting for this day and planning for this day for a long time. We've been eager to announce the fruition of our plans. The University of Mary has been engaging over the course of a couple of years now an intensive planning process as we look out to the future. We look to the future not simply of our institution, not simply of the University of Mary, but the future of the region in which we are and the people whom we serve. We look to that future with great attention and with prayerful consideration. And what we see is tremendous challenge and unprecedented opportunity. We brought together for a series of conversations our internal community here, faculty, students, and staff, along with more than 200 volunteers from throughout this region, who donated together more than 7,500 volunteer hours in brainstorming and planning and discussing what the needs of North Dakota and our region are, and the ways that the University of Mary, in unprecedented and exciting ways, can begin to meet and to serve those needs in new ways. That was the process which led to Vision 2030, a plan for the University of Mary. The themes which arose out of that plan were distinction, service, and relationships, all of which are core to our identity from the very beginning, but which we understand need to be accentuated and focused upon with energy and joy and persistence like never before. Distinction, service, and relationships have been part of our lifeblood from the very beginning. But as we look at the challenge that we face today, we know that we have to step it up. We know that there's need for the University of Mary to do yet more in service, and we're eager to do it. I grew up just about 40 miles from here on a farm in rural North Dakota. The 1980s were hard times. I remember them well. I remember my mom and dad striving to work and pray to feed a large and growing family. I remember the small joys and the great trials and sadness of small-town life in those days. I remember the excitement of coming up here to Bismarck and driving past what was then Mary College, going to shop, and then going back home. The challenges of rural life, the challenges on the landscape of these prairies in those days were great. As time has gone on, who would have ever thought that we'd find ourselves in the place that we are today? The last decade in North Dakota has been unbelievable to those of us who have been around for a while. We can't believe the changes. We can't believe the opportunity. We can't believe the challenges either. We ask ourselves, what is it that all of this prosperity, what is it that the ups and the downs and the back and the forth mean for the call which we're given in these times? We try and always tell our students here at the university, who are the best students in all the world, who are the best in all the world. Did you get that on tape? We try and tell our students here that they should never wish that they had been born in a different age. That though these days present particular challenges, though our culture and our nation is at a time of crossroads, these are the times for which you and I were created. We were given the gifts and the possibilities in order to meet these challenges. The cultural landscape of North Dakota, and indeed of our country, requires that noble task of education as never before. We believe deeply what G.K. Chesterton said, that education is nothing less than the passing on of the soul of a society from one generation to the next. The passing on of a soul of a society from one generation to the next. And so we rise up to meet this challenge, knowing that our nation is in need of a new generation of servant leaders with moral courage. That the work of education that we do, which is a noble and an irreplaceable task, we can do like never before. This is a spiritual work, but it's also a temporal work. It's a work which requires resources. And so matching the vision, of course, our needs as well. We've identified in the course of planning and conversation and deep study over the course of the next 15 years for Vision 2030 needs in the amount of $272 million, $250 million of needs for services, for education, for facilities, with which we will enrich the place in which we live, the community here and all the communities of which we are a part. That 15-year campaign will take place over the course of 3 phases. And the first phase will be $96 million. It will involve many things, including the construction of a new residence hall for freshman women with 276 beds, which I'm happy to tell you is already under construction. An 80,000 square foot campus center, state-of-the-art, a repurposing of our current field house, which will include a 24/7 dining center, a student success center, a hall of fame, and an event center, a ballroom that seats 600 for supper, an elegance the likes of which this community is about to get to know. An 80,000 square foot field house with a new state-of-the-art wellness center for students, and a track regulation size so that our field and track team, which is one of the best in the nation, have a place not simply to practice, but to host events, a place for student recreation as well. A new school of engineering to serve the academic needs of the people of this region and to consolidate all of the program offerings with which the University of Mary already has. And a campus for our graduate programs in health sciences, which are bursting at the seams: physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, and graduate nursing, which we hope to put in downtown Bismarck and connect us more intimately yet with the community. $96 million in projects. I'm happy to announce today that the University of Mary has already, in the silent phase of this campaign, raised $37.8 million, 40% of our campaign goal for the first phase. That is no small accomplishment. For us to have done that means that there are already people, friends and supporters who support our vision and who are willing to assist us in extraordinary ways. And each one of them, in their generosity, in their belief in our students, is a gift. Friends, a campaign of this size and scope is no small thing. Many of you, the smartest among you, must be asking, can we do this? Can we do this? A small Christian Catholic college founded by Benedictine sisters in the middle of North Dakota, which used to be flyover territory, which used to be a place, a blank spot on the consciousness of the nation. Can we do it? I say to you, not only can we do it, we must do it. Again, our nations in North Dakota is at a crossroads, and like never before, we are in need of a new generation of leadership, which can be brought about by careful and devoted education, moral leaders filled with courage, ready to serve. That's what the University of Mary has always been about. That's what we'll be about going into the future. And for those skeptics out there who don't believe that we can accomplish these high ends, I would like to call all of our memory to the first 2 donors to the University of Mary. And here I'm not talking about buildings or land. On the one hand, we have the person who gave to us our name, Mary, the mother of Jesus. The Gospel of Luke tells us that there was a day when she was young, like our students, standing on the doorstep of her life, and an angel came to her. And she did not know if what the angel was telling her about God's plan for her life could possibly be true. And the angel said words which changed her life and which resound for us today. Those words were, "Nothing is impossible for God. Nothing is impossible for God." So on the one hand, we have Mary, after whom this university was named. and I entrust all of our efforts and this whole project to her tender maternal care. And on the other hand, and far above and beyond, is God the Father, who was indeed the first donor to this place, who gave to our founding sisters the vision and the courage to found this place, to plant it here high upon this prairie bluff for the education of young people and to serve the religious, cultural, and academic needs of the people of this region. Someone whom I respect very much once told me just recently, we do the ask. We do the ask. We ask. God does the hearts. And so indeed he does, and will today, starting in this room. All of our hearts then are raised up with gratitude to him who has been so good to the University of Mary and to the people of North Dakota and to all whom we have served, our nation, our world. God who has been so good will see this through. About that I have no doubt. So grateful for your presence here today. God bless you all, and take a look at how we're going to speak about and present our new ideals. What's the purpose of higher education? What is a university for? The domain of a university is universal knowledge. Universal knowledge about how men and women are meant to live as human beings, how they're meant to be contributors to society, contributors to the culture. And our work at the University of Mary is to help our students, whether they're 18 or 42, to be able to see that each of them have that possibility to live fully, to live well, with the insight necessary to be a good mom, to be a good dad, to be great in their workplace and their community, so that they're not just existing, but they're really living, that they're not just surviving, but they're thriving. And that's a whole different thing. It's an endeavor which is very distinct from the endeavor which many universities and colleges in our day set out to do. We offer an education for the whole of life, and that's the difference. University of Mary, for life.
What a wonderful creation this what you had just seen was. Thank you to the creative services team that put that together. Thank you, Monsignor, for your wonderful words as well as we embark on this wonderful new beginning, in a sense, but yet the beginning happened quite some time ago. The Sisters of Annunciation Monastery created Mary College in 1959, and we were responding to specific need in the community. The needs had to do with healthcare and education, preparing nurses and teachers for their profession. Back at that time, our founding sisters could see that 4-year degrees would soon be necessary for anyone to continue in these professions, and that a liberal arts education would form a student in areas that were important in life. Our mission then, as it is now, is to respond to the religious, academic, and cultural needs of this region and beyond. The sisters also felt it was important to form leaders in the service of truth, to provide our students with an ethical and moral background that would assist them not only in their profession, but in all of life. Over the years, the University of Mary has experienced tremendous growth. We've expanded our offerings from the 2, healthcare and education, to over 50 undergraduate majors, 14 graduate degrees, and 3 doctoral offerings. Today, we continue to experience growth, and at the same time, the University of Mary's mission and values that have come from the Benedictine sisters remains strong. Vision 2030 continues the mission and pioneering spirit of the Sisters of Annunciation Monastery. Through this strategic plan, we continue and strengthen the education of a generation of moral leaders. But keep in mind, this is bigger than just education. What is happening at the University of Mary has a far-reaching effect on all of society as our graduates move into the world and give witness to living a life steeped in Christian values. Vision 2030 will set the course for the future of the University of Mary and will enable us to continue to serve this region and beyond. These are exciting times, not just for the University of Mary, but for the Bismarck-Mandan area, for the state of North Dakota. As we sisters work together with the Board of Trustees, our extremely capable and talented leadership of Monsignor Shea and his leadership cabinet, our dedicated faculty and staff, as well as our friends and supporters, we move forward with Vision 2030 in providing quality education here in this Christian, Catholic, and Benedictine institution. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for being part of this wonderful experience. God bless you.
But several things that I feel compelled to say that I wasn't planning to. And I want to start with the word vision. I appreciate so much the words both of Monsignor Shea and Sister Nancy. And I was sitting here thinking, in this very room, Sister Thomas, Harry Miller's secret weapon, Sister Thomas is with us, so if she calls on you, have lunch with her. It was on my birthday, the first year I worked here, Sister Thomas, that then Prioress Sister Susan Berger called me for lunch to the monastery. I thought, either this is a celebration or I'm in big trouble right away. And we talked about this very building and this room, and she said when she goes for walks, she would look at the students looking out these windows, and she said to me, I would pray, oh, that those windows would provide them a vision. And it does, doesn't it? And so here today we're announcing a vision appropriately. It's great to be here with co-chair Heather Butler, who is not only the co-chairman of this campaign, but the hinge-pin of leadership, as you might have noticed. For all of us, she keeps us on task, and she does a great job of it, as well as sharing her vision. So thanks, Heather, for being here. And I was thinking also, Nancy, as you were speaking, you know, I'm told that the Speaker of the House does not have to be a member of Congress, and perhaps, you know, you could help with, especially since Catholic schools always stick together, I hear. Anyway, this is really cool for me. You know, I have plenty to do, for sure. But it's also good to have something bigger to do. And I mean that. Bigger than what's going on in the United States of America. And I think that what's going on here is bigger. Jim, I appreciate that you referenced this crossroads that our state and our nation are at. There's no question about it. I also noticed that you loosely quoted former North Dakotan Eric Severide, who referred to North Dakota as the rectangular blank spot in the nation's consciousness. That's not true anymore. And I see it every day. I get great pleasure waking up in Washington knowing that 434 of my closest friends and colleagues have to read about my state in the Wall Street Journal. And then they say, what is it that's going on out there? Because now we're not the blank spot, but we are the rectangular stage under the nation's spotlight. And people are looking at us for new visions. And I've been involved with the University of Mary pretty much since I moved to Bismarck. Grateful to have been part of the Harold Schaefer Leadership Foundation and Center at its very beginnings, speaking of visions. And grateful for the values of community, you know, that are not separate from, but rather beautifully intertwined with capitalism when done properly. And service. Grateful to have had the opportunity. That probably the thing I miss the most is not being able any longer to participate in the faculty teaching, to be an instructor. I love that so much, the interaction with students who come from all over the world, as we know, attracted by a reputation for academic excellence, whether they're 19 or 50. I've had students as old as 70 in my classes when I was an instructor. But they're also attracted by those strong Benedictine values, attracted by our commitment to being Christian, Catholic, and Benedictine. What an awesome thing. What a unique differentiation that makes a big difference. It's important to have a distinction and to be rooted in a call to service. You guys, it's never been more important than it is now. We all need reminding that our call is to serve. And what a great model we have. And thank you for that reminder, Monsignor, as well. The first two donors. The first two donors. And lest we think, I love the call to skeptics, lest we think this is too much. In my world, $250 million, that's what we do, just showing up for work. But it was, it was the scripture it is the scripture that tells us I can do all things through him. All things through him who strengthens me. Let that be our focus. Thanks for letting me be part of the team.
Monsignor, Sister Nancy, Congressman, a lot of great words. And I got a few more to add. This is an exciting time for the University of Mary. It was an exciting time when I was going to school at Mary. Back in the early 80s when Monsignor was still milking cows and handling hay bales. Okay, I was here attending class, albeit if there's some individuals around here in the room might tell you I wasn't at every class. I was also spending time at our operations up on the interstate. Was part of my education at the same time. But I think back to the exciting time when we were making that transition from Mary College to the University of Mary. That was a very exciting time during my years at school. And I often sat out here and looked out these same windows, that vision of what my future was going to be, but also how beautiful this campus is. This gem out here on the prairie, and how this campus has continued to grow over time to what it is today. And as you look at these different storyboards, what it'll be in the future. As the chairman of the Board of Regents, I was happy to put my stamp on our next phase, or our first phase, as we look to generate well over $90 million for these projects. My wife, Heather, and Congressman Kramer, you do have a little more work to do here. We're not quite to that goal. But I think as we made that decision not very many days ago, the leap of faith we talked about amongst our board, that we have great things ahead of us. And there's a lot of people that are willing to step up to the plate to make this happen. Over the years, our Butler family, we've been very involved with the University of Mary. My parents, myself, my beautiful bride, and even our kids as we move forward, as we teach them servant leadership and what it means for our faith and to give back to our faith. And we look forward to spending our time and talent in making our Vision 2030 happen. And as you look at the board behind us, it's University of Mary for life. And really, at the end of the day, I look at our own business and the training that we provide our individuals, it's for life. And what we're here today with our first couple groundbreakings, it's for the life of our students, our mind, our body, and our souls, and what we're putting in place here today and for the future. As again, I looked at the facilities we're in today and how they've changed since I was a student, and how they've changed since those very early classes when you were teachers and nurses attending Mary University. And we're looking for great days ahead. As we look out these windows, we'll continue with our vision. Thank you.